we start the video, I want to take this time to shout out my KOG member of the month, Ryan McDonough. Big thanks for being a loyal KOG member. If you want your name here, consider hitting that join button for exclusive channel benefits. How's it going, guys? RNG Life here, and today we're taking a look at the new box, and I'm gonna kind of answer the question, should I pull from Truth Universe? I've had a lot of people asking that question in the comments or saying their opinion, a varied opinion. I'm gonna be pulling from the box regardless because I gotta pull from the box, dude. That's what it is when you're doing YouTube. Basically, Truth Universe is the new box. For anybody who's not aware, it's bringing some Malefic support. It's bringing DD support or DDD support. I made a video on that yesterday, so if you haven't seen all the stuff in this box and no in-depth effects for all the cards, go ahead and check that out. I went into very in-depth looking at all the cards and talking about what are the best cards in this box. But today we're going to be talking about whether you want to pull from this box or not. I do have a list of some pros and cons, about equal for both of them. So if you guys are on the fence, this video should help you in deciding whether you want to spend your gems here. So let's go ahead and get things started. First thing is first, let's start with some pros right now. I'm going to go over the positive because I'm a generally positive guy, dude. I like things. I don't really dislike a lot of things. So yeah, let's go over the positives first, and then we'll end it off with all the actual negative sides of the box. To start things off, obviously one of the main reasons you would want to pull from this box is because you want to play Malefics. Malefic cards are pretty cool. I mean, they're pretty interesting. You got Malefic Stardust and stuff like that. They're pretty interesting. You would basically want these to either play the Malefic deck as its own thing, or to use the Malefic cards to boost other decks. For example, you can throw Malefic Stardust Dragon into any deck with a field spell. Of course, you need a field spell. So if your deck has a field spell, like maybe Necro Valley or something, I don't know, there you go. You run one of those really strong field spells, and you can use a Malefic Stardust Dragon in any deck. I am not kidding, because all you have to do is put a Stardust Dragon into that extra deck. So you banish Stardust Dragon, summons a Malefic, and yeah, you got a 2500 beater out of nowhere, and it's still pretty good for just protecting yourself early game. They kill this monster or something, and then you can just keep doing what your deck normally does. So it's a really good just extra boss monster, extra engine, and I like it. It's pretty cool. Now, there's other ways you can probably run Malefics. There are others like a Malefic Blue Eyes White Dragon and Malefic Rainbow Dragon. Now, you would use these if you want to boost maybe like a Blue Eyes deck, or you want to play Crystal Beast and you want to boost a Rainbow Dragon deck, whatever. This could be really good because I know Crystal Beasts have a field spell. I don't know if it's in Duel Links, but I haven't checked. But yeah, so Malefic Rainbow Dragon can be really good for Crystal Beasts. If you're a fan of Crystal Beasts, by the way, you're gonna love this box. So that's another thing I'll go over in a bit. But yeah, Malefic Rainbow Dragon is a 4000 beater that you can just summon out of nowhere, dude. And that is an insane power up for Crystal Beasts, seeing as how they already have stuff like Haman and Rainbow Dragon and stuff like that. So they can already have that boost. So it basically adds a huge monster to the deck, and I think it's a pretty good thing to upgrade their deck. Number 2, you want to play DDDs. Basically, that is another thing that is coming in this box. DDDs seem really cool. They are all about just spamming the board, paying, or well, not paying, but their spells are also really crazy. It's like they have a lot of like continuous spells, continuous traps that all like make you take 1000 damage on the standby phase. All their spells and traps, for example, like Dark Contract with the Gate, and so which is basically just super consistent because it basically says during the main phase you can just search any DDD monster from the deck to your hand, and that is awesome. That's really good. Of course, you're gonna be taking 1000 burn every standby phase, but there's actually kind of a way around that. There's this one, and then there's this card over here, Dark Contract with the Swamp King, which I think are the definite cards you have to run. Dark Contract with the Swamp King is like your fusion card for the deck. It's a once per turn fusion, and it's so good. These cards make the deck kind of crazy, and they let you fuse insanely. It's just really awesome. The only thing is you take 1000 damage each turn from having these, so imagine having like 3 of these active. You better win that turn, dude, because you're taking so much damage on that next turn. So that's one thing. The other thing that I saw that changes everything for DDDs is this card right here, DDD Oracle King D'Arc, which kind of annoys me because it's a woman. It's obviously a female, dude. What do you mean a king? You can't just choose your gender. No, this card is actually really good despite whatever. It says any effect that would inflict damage to you makes you gain that much life points instead. So that means you would be healing life points at an insane rate. You would just be gaining like 2 or 3,000 life points every turn if you can have this monster out. Also, I mean, one of the spells that you're going to be taking burn damage with can easily get this thing out. All you need to do is fuse any 2 DD monsters, and it's just super easy. So that makes DDs a little bit fun and interesting. I kind of like that. I'll be talking about more DDs in a bit, but yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about DDs. I think they're going to be pretty fun, but whatever. Moving on, another reason why you would want to go into this box is because Ancient Pixie Dragon is a generally good UR synchro, generic synchro card. It is really good, once again, if you run field spells. So that is pretty cool. I think this is a pretty good reason to go into the box, at least to try to pull this one card. Justy Break over here is another really interesting card. I'm not saying this is a generic, like a trap card or whatever that you can run in any deck. So that is not the case. You would want to run it. The reason you would want to run this card is because Dark Magicians and Blue Eyes focus on normal monsters, and it's kind of good, and especially in Dark Magician. If you summon Dark Magicians, one of the Dark Magician problems, if you're not already just banishing all their stuff, is if they somehow get a big beater out that's like 2,500 plus. And they try to crash into your Dark Magician, attack Dark Magician, you have Justy Break and you can absolutely demolish them. It's pretty good, it's kind of insane, and it will leave only your Dark Magicians alive, so Justy Break can be really good to break Dark Magician and Blue Eyes as well, but more Dark Magician. Another reason why you would probably want this box is because we're getting some good Dino support like Miscellaneousaurus and of course the Dino Wrestlers. That is one reason why you would probably want to go into this box. Maybe you're a fan of dinosaurs, maybe you want to use these dinosaurs with some previous Dino support. There you go, that is one reason for it. I'm not going to go too in depth on the Dino Wrestler archetype, but yeah, Dino Wrestlers look pretty interesting. I don't know if they're going to be that good though, but there you go, there's one thing about them. Another reason why you would probably want to pull from this box is because you want to play Cybers. Cybers look interesting, especially D-Grade Buster. D-Grade Buster looks amazing. I really like this card. I think he's really cool. He's also just a generic, like, really cool boss monster that if you can actually get this guy out, it's just like, yeah, dude. But you do need to run at least two Cybers monsters, so he would only really work in a Cybers deck, unfortunately, but dude, he's so cool. He's such a cool card. But yeah, aside from that, I think I'll go ahead and talk about what Cybers are in the cons, at least, because I got something to say about Cybers. Another obvious reason is the Crystal Beast support. Yeah, dude, this box is bringing like the best Crystal Beast support. Crystal Conclave is good. The Malefic Rainbow Dragon, like I said, is really good for Crystal Beast. But yeah, Crystal Conclave is just amazing for Crystal Beast. Same thing with Rainbow Bridge. This card is another just super busted card. It's probably a 3 of, to be honest, because Rainbow Bridge is just so good. So yeah, if you're a Crystal Beast fan, you're probably gonna want to go into this box. That's another thing. And last but not least, for the pros, the one last thing I think is pretty cool about this is Dark Dust Spirit. I think Dark Dust Spirit is just a pretty cool card. I think it could be really interesting since it's basically a Black Rose that you normal summon. So I like it. I think it's pretty cool, but I don't know. I don't know how much play it's going to be seeing, but I definitely think it's a really cool card, especially with some of like the Rex skills like Titan Showdown and stuff like that. I don't know if that'll work, but that could be pretty good. But whatever, that's pretty much it for the pros. Now it's time to go into the cons on why I think you should hold off and save your gems from going into this box. So let's go ahead and get things started. First things first, there's a lack of main box, like, staple trap cards. In a lot of boxes, usually what makes you want to pull in those boxes is because they have some amazing generic, like, super busted traps. For example, like Treacherous Trap Hole, Wall of D, Canadia. Those cards were all really good and made you kind of want to go into that box. And in this one, the only thing we really have that's a generic would be Acid Trap Hole. I think Justy Break is really good if you play Dark Magician and Blue Eyes. That's the only reason. I'm not talking about this because this card is situational to those decks. What I'm talking about is a card you can splash in any deck as an option, and the only thing we have here is Acid Trap Hole, and unfortunately this card is not as strong as you want it to be. This is a very old card, and It's just, the power creep is real. Acid Trap Hole was really, really cool back in the day when everybody was playing Caveman Yu-Gi-Oh! And they would set and pass for turn 1 or whatever, and then you'd be like, haha, Acid Trap Hole, destroy that monster. The only other downside is, even in that time, it will flip it face up, therefore it will get its flip effect, which is kind of lame, but Acid Trap Hole is just nowhere near as strong as it should be, so that's one downside. Another con to this is, if you are looking for a meta deck, let's say you are a completely try-hard pro skills, pro gamer, and you are only interested in winning and destroying your opponents, this box might not be for you. I say might because you never know how things change, but just from first glance and from looking at things, I don't think this box has new like meta support. I mean, maybe with DDDs they could do something eventually, but I don't know, man. I think they're very, very easily shut down. If for one person who wants to get the bang for his buck or the bang for his gems, you probably might want to skip on this one if you're only interested in the competitive aspect. Now, another thing that kind of ties into that is the whole DDD thing. Like, if you're looking for a competitive deck, the thing about DDDs is they look really fun. They look really cool. And of course, like, they're doing a lot of stuff, like they're able to swarm the board, do a whole bunch of stuff. They're cool. They're generally cool. I will give them that, but this is the cons section. So we're talking about the negatives of DDDs. And one thing is, Duel Links is a completely different beast from the TCG. In Duel Links, we only have 3 monster zones and 3 back row zones, which definitely hurts this deck. That means if you want to play all your, like, all the dark contract cards, you're only going to be playing 2 for the most part. If you play 3, you have clogged up your back row, and good luck then. So, yeah, I mean, sure, you can go into your Oracle King Dark. That thing is pretty cool for, like, healing you instead of whatever, but if they kill this thing, you're on a time limit. You're gonna be kind of like losing stuff. You're gonna lose life points really, really fast. So you better basically run this deck as an OTK deck. Now the thing is, I don't think these guys are all that good yet, because of the fact that this deck is meant to use like all the summoning mechanics. So far we got Fusion and we got Synchro. We do not have Xyz yet though, which is kind of lame. One thing, I mean, a little sidetrack thingy. Keep in mind we are going to be getting Zexal World and Xyz pretty soon in this year or something. So probably later this year, maybe like 5-6 months. I'm not sure, but we might be getting that at some time. So when that happens, maybe we're gonna get the rest of the DDD support, and when that happens, you're like, holy crap, DDD's amazing now I have to dig into this box. So that's a thing. But another thing is, DDDs also use pendulums, and without all that support, I mean, the deck is probably lackluster and it's missing a lot of its main combo pieces and whatever. So I think DDDs are cool, but they're just probably not all there yet. So I don't know if you want to invest in a deck that's just kind of crippled from the start. Another thing is, if you are going into this box, you're going to be getting some Malefic support. Now, here's another thing. Malefics have never really been meta in Yu-Gi-Oh history. So adding them to Duel Links, remember I said Duel Links is a completely different beast from the TCG. But, I mean, there is definitely a correlation on if decks are good or not. Malefics are cool, but I don't know how they were going to do in Duel Links. Like, sure, having only 20 cards in the deck means super high consistency, unlike the TCG where you're running 40 card decks. So there's a chance that you don't start with the field spell, you don't start with your opening cards, you don't start with a lot of things. Malefics just kind of fall apart turn 1. In Duel Links, they're going to be a lot more consistent, but they have never been that great. So I don't have too much faith that this deck is just going to be the tier 0 busted meta deck that you guys probably would want it to be. I think it's a fun anime type archetype. We are getting some new support with Malefic territory and stuff, so that makes it a little bit better, but it's probably limited to how fast you can get your Malefic territory, to be honest. Another factor is, just to start off, if you are a free-to-play player and you're on the fence, you're like, I don't know, dude, I'm not really big into DDDs or Malefics, but I want to know if I should pull from this box for the sake of just pulling. If you are using your gems, your hard-earned, grinded gems, I would probably say skip. That is because of everything I stated earlier, and just the fact that, like, gems are pretty hard to come by sometimes, and whether you want to just spend them all in this box, I don't know about that one. If you are free to play, I would say you might be better off skipping. Maybe go into the box a little bit, maybe pull like maybe your free 500 gems or whatever, but if anything, I'd probably just say, like, hold on hold on to your gems. This box isn't like too game changing, so there's another thing. It is mostly a meme box with a lot of fun deck ideas. So if you, for example, you just want to make a meme deck for Guard Dragon and Drake, or you want to play like Dino Wrestlers and see what they can potentially do, Malefics and whatever. Like, if you want to play these weird decks, like for example, Paladin of Storm Dragon looks really fun. I think this thing looks really, really interesting, but it's probably not going to be too competitive in before like it actually becomes tier 0, but it probably won't. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if this box has a lot of fun things. There's one that looks insanely hard to summon. This guy over here, dude. Zushin the Sleeping Giant. I have no idea how anybody's gonna summon this guy. I mean, I don't know, dude. I feel like it's gonna be really, really hard to get this guy out, especially because he kind of only works with like level 1 normal monsters. So I don't know about that one, Chief. But yeah, Zushin, like this box brings a lot of meme support. So that's another thing that I'm just like, dude, a lot of the stuff in here is kind of really, really fun, but it doesn't look very, very strong. So that's another thing. And probably one of my last points, now that I'm kind of covering this, is the fact that Cybers don't look that strong without links. Like, that is unfortunate. Like, sure, they can spam the board and do stuff, but without link summoning, these guys are kind of lame. It's sad. I mean, you could potentially do some plays with them, but cards like Datacorn over here, like, yeah, it's an interesting card for links, of course. But first you'd have to use another card to special summon this card, and all it would really do is give you another level 1 monster token on the field. It'd be really, really awesome if we had some links in the game, but like I said, we don't have links, therefore these cards are kind of lame. I mean, what are you gonna do? Creature Seizure? I mean, that's one option, but that's the only thing I can think of with Datacorn, unless you want to just tribute them or something. But I don't know, dude. I just don't see these cards being that great. They look pretty fun. They look pretty generic. But remember, it is the first wave of Cybers, so we're not gonna get anything busted and meta game changing. Let me know if you guys have anything to add to this in the comments below. I just wanted to point out some goods, some bads. For anybody who's wondering, I'm not trying to be negative and destroy the box and be like, oh, this box sucks. No, I'm basically just trying to give you guys some informed opinions, more or less, on whether you should go into this box, because I know a lot of people have those questions. They're like, so should I buy from this box or not? That is definitely a thing that I'm trying to do to like help people, because I got a lot of those questions. So there you guys go. But remember, after everything's said, we could get new support that makes these decks or cards or whatever insanely broken in the future. You never know, you might get a card from an event that just makes Cybers really, really good for some reason. That could happen, so keep that in mind, guys. But yeah, by now I hope you've made your decision on whether you want to pull from this box or not. I know, like I said, a lot of free-to-play players, you might want to pass on this one unless you want to pull like 5 or 10 packs, I don't know, just to get some of these interesting cards, like maybe Ancient Pixie. That card's pretty cool. Maybe you wanted that Justy Break or something, I don't know. But let me know in the comments below if you guys actually are going to be pulling for any of these cards. But whatever, that's pretty much that. And if you guys enjoyed, go and leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Duel Links shenanigans. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today. Have a great day, and see you guys.